So a true period is a period that follows ovulation. You ovulate that egg, the empty follicle now turns into the corpus luteum, which makes progesterone. Once that progesterone declines, because the corpus luteum only lasts so long, that's why your luteal phase is like approximately 2 weeks, then you get your period from the drop in progesterone. So that would be a true period. How you know if that happened is if you're tracking ovulation. So you know that you've ovulated because you're looking at different signs like cervical mucus and shift in temperature. Those are some things you can do at home. You could also use ovulation test strips, but although you could be getting a positive LH on your test strips, it doesn't necessarily mean that you actually ovulated. This is why I love tracking my temperature and my cervical mucus. If you're using an app to dictate whether you have ovulated, it really doesn't know if you have, so it kind of just uses an algorithm to pick a day where it thinks ovulation should be, given like science. But ovulation can move due to a lot of different stressors, so I wouldn't rely on your app. If you happen to go to a clinic and get an ultrasound, they can see if you've ovulated or not. And once you ovulated, you have your luteal phase, and then you're on your way to getting your true period. Now, usually if you have a regular cycle, you are more likely to have a true period. But even if you have a regular cycle, sometimes you can skip ovulation, it can be pushed, and that could potentially result in a breakthrough or withdrawal bleed, which is not a true period. A lot of times you can hear people say, I had 2 periods in 1 month, or I just got off my period and I got a period again. Sometimes people do have shorter cycles and ovulation is happening sooner, but a lot of times that is because ovulation was pushed for some reason, there was a change in hormone levels, and you ended up getting a breakthrough bleed. So that can occur when there's a buildup of that lining so much that eventually it breaks through. Or a withdrawal bleed, which is more related to like drop in hormones. You can get a withdrawal bleed if you have taken some form of birth control pill, if you took a Plan B, or if you've had a sudden drop in your own hormones. Breakthrough bleeding is also very common in PCOS because, again, the ovulation is being pushed and pushed and pushed. That's why the cycle is so irregular and so long. And you could also get some other bleeding because of like endometriosis, or a uterine polyp, possibly an infection, or something going on with your cervix, which are all things to get checked out if you're having prolonged bleeding. Usually, this is more of a spotting. A lot of times the breakthrough or the withdrawal bleed is lighter than your true period. It can be just as heavy, but usually it's lighter, and sometimes it can be brown as well. If you found this helpful, check out my YouTube channel with a whole fertility awareness course on it to teach you how to cycle track, avoid pregnancy naturally, and plan a pregnancy, along with keeping tabs on your health. For educational purposes only, not medical advice.